Three, two, one. You're on.
Hello and welcome to Angora Poets World Caffe, where we appear and present in poetry and prose, native language, English language, granny's language, whatever language you want a language in. And we broadcast out of Paris and we beam over to the various places on the four corners of our planet. So I think you've heard the rap before. Would like you to donate, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just listen to the podcast and enjoy your time on lockdown. Hey, so welcome. Now, I'd like to introduce a poet laureate of South Euclid, Ohio, who's graced us again tonight with his presence. And he be Doc Janning, the doctor, and he will be our first poet. Over to you, doctor.
Okay. The shimmering edge of life peers over the horizon of infinity, invisible fires blazing light among false shadows of tomorrow. As sentient awareness grows, imbued by the multiverse, with unseen, unknown rhythms, pulsing in outre patterns among swirling cryptic galaxies of transcendental thought and luminous contemplative dreams, emerging from the profound all to converge and coalesce an evanescent, nascent self.
That was deep. Like, beam me up. All right. So, do you have a second one, please, Doctor?
Oh, yes, I've got three. Kaim. Immense, disparate, dichroic mysteries make the familiar strange, and the strange familiar, as immured enigmatic light in layers of sensuous stories, and the last striated scud of day brightens in coruscating Kaim, disappearing into velvet darkness and apotheosis of voluptuous time, to dance on moonlight mangata midst shades and shadows of life. Then you become me, and I you, my other self, dreaming lilac Kaim dreams as the space between us and the nothing between noises, the melding mystic magics and ancient alabaster chrism of infinite possible nights coalesce in limitless love. That's two.
That was a leap into romantic space. I just want to know, after listening to that poem, I need a dictionary on so many of the words you said. I done missed them in high school, brother. Uh, in the beginning, you used a word I've never heard. Back up
Kaim.
like it real early. It starts with a D, I believe.
A D. Let's see.
Read the first couple lines.
Hold on. Let me get back there.
Okay.
You would ask me for that. This is the second poem.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, disparate dichroic mysteries.
Dichroic, man. What is dichroic?
It means something which reflects or splits light in two planes.
Okay, so di means division. All right.
Di means two.
Yeah, okay. So, okay, good. Well, now, and I'll get my dictionary out later to get some of that other vocab. That's nice.
And
So,
Kaim is spelled Caim, but it's pronounced as though it's Kym, and
okay.
it is doggone it. Now I lost the thought of what it is.
Well, how
Look it
about,
up.
yeah,
Caim.
look it up.
Huh?
That's right. Okay, cool. How about three's a charm, Doc?
Three's the charm. Okay. Uh, oh, here. I don't know if I've read this for you before. Anywhere and any when, a maze of time and space, you find me there in a place or a nowhere, that is all. You find me in the moment, if there's such a thing as time, where there is no beginning and there is not an end. This is beyond all knowing, yet known by one and all. To me, this sounds so simple, though beyond the ken of most. Our thought is of the multiverse, but does it ever think of us? Or are we but made of stardust, or another being's dreams? Now, am I only dreaming, or are these my reflections? For there is no beginning, and there is not an end. Thank you.
Ooh, wow. That's cool, man. Putting down that modern physics right into contemporary poetry. That's all right. Was that was thinking of the multiverse? Is the multiverse thinking of us? How about that?
Yep.
Cool. That'll humble me for a while, I'll tell you that. Okay. Very nice. Thank you, Doc. And hang out for the second round, okay?
Oh, I shall.
All right, very good. So now we're going to move over. We're going to go further. We're going to cross the pond and come here to Paris, France, with a core Angora poet who's very active on the Paris scene, and we call him the Judge. And so we want to call up Judge Bill Strangmeyer.
Yeah, hey Doc, do you know Swedenborg's thing where if you remember a past life, it's not your past life, it's a spirit coming by giving you a memory? You heard that one? Anyway, I have a quote. Can you all hear me?
We certainly can.
Okay. I have a quote. And let me tell you, a display is a good thing. That's Donald Trump that said that. Plastic Man hipped us to changes. The panels follow one by one that once were in broadsheets or little glossy chapbook pages telling tales of loonies living little lives, adventures of unreal and super non-anatomic parodies. Once the world was also boxed away like doo-wop, jazz, or local food, but once no job could hold us down, and once our lives were only ours, unless the cops caught wind of prey. Entertainment never copied life, for that was art. Evil wore a comic face, spoke cockatoo to scare the pretend straights. TV comedy was dad joke wholesome before all the comics escaped into life and the comic book life seeped back into film. Now we're all in our boxes arranged by the web state, and the flavors hilarious, horrific, or grave, inspiring no ice cream, no pudding, no sauce, and I'm spread all over, but mainly I hide, hoping never to break out and into a panel. Ambition is rare on my plate, and a life next to Archie, a date with Miss Swift to end up in a songbook is not in the corner I've been painted into now for years. Breaking out the comic book, I see how hard the breaking out is on the square. Did rich guys ever hang out in smoking jackets in their library behind a fancy desk? Do they now favor Modern Black or Swedish Bear? No, the TV advertising didn't change the world. It's a comic book invasion by strange clowns. Why this present funny paper world? Is it really the end of history and times? Has the end of art decreed the end of all the actors on Shakespeare's long-gone stage? Once Marvel made fun of DC, now DC copies Marvel. But what of other stilted earthbound fantasies as visionary as a Crambo game into eternity? Could Orwell then not draw? Well, his work too now bounces back, and his life is ever more a structured tube that leads into a trivial, valueless world of presidential mugshots. Oh, there's much more to come. But hey, I wouldn't want to scare you.
Well, trapped in the web state. I like that. You call it the web state.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. All right, Bill. Number 2, please.
Okay, let's see. Okay, here's one. Call it Oh This Night. Oh, the beginning. Oh, the start. Oh, how we glow in electrical arc, Seize it, it may never come again. Just now we've started down a path. Now, let me start again. Oh, the beginning, oh, the start, oh, how we glow in electrical art. Seize it, it may never come again. Just for now, we've started down a path. All of this sunshine is suddenly glowing onto a world that's now bright and so clear. I laugh for the joy, I laugh for the maybe, I laugh for the happiness swelling and bright. Your beauty now lifts me. I love life more than ever. The past and the future dissolve into now. Nothing is better than this present moment. If we carry it into the future, if it lasts but this once, I shall always remember and hold it in trust for my soul when I ask if I've lived a real life.
All right. Yeah, okay, Bill. Wow, out of the chute. Thank you, Bill. I think that was 3. Was that 3?
That was 2.
Oh, well, I stand corrected. Give us 3's a charm, please.
Okay, let's see. This is one, I don't see anybody here that was there Monday night when the microphones betrayed me. So I'm going to read it again. Call it My Summer Vacations. For this class report, I have the cabin in the woods. It was my grandfather's farm in Virginia. The wood was dark, but around the cabin grew zinnias, and a trip with my grandfather always made me feel good. We'd ride down a trail on a wagon behind 2 old mules. Their tails swatted the air and a few of the flies on their rumps. I'd listen to wisdom and comfort, not fearing the bumps in the road, escape from comportment and rules. Sometimes the whole big family would make the trip loud and adventurous like a hayride of amorous teens, jumping on and off the wagon to play and to run, picking blackberries, blueberries, happy as kids, not even thinking we'd want to be free. And there was a pump that pumped water so cold we'd just sip from the dipper. The cabin wasn't always too immaculately clean, but we'd run in and out, back and forth between its cool and hot sun. The comforting routine of every summer, just the same, we dreamt of all the school year long, its caress lasting through winter, kept relevant by family myths that goodness was family. Remembering the nights when all around the farmhouse night enveloped, one light far off and the city lights peering over the mountain, distant, like our own fall and winter city way up north. That cabin now remains in vague and unclear memory, much like the city on a hill or El Dorado, heaven in a teacup, a little world of beings way too small to question or advise. From here, our real and gritty city washed in neon light.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question there, Bill?
Yeah.
You resonated with me similar to Thomas Wolfe with Look Homeward, Angel. Was that somebody in your archive, or is that just a really nice, similar resonance?
Well, I have a different relationship with the South than he did. The South is my summer vacations and my grandparents and my cousins. And yeah, okay, when I was a kid, I believed in Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson, but I learned to read. And then I found out things. So for me, the South is nostalgia and good food. I'm not I have sympathy for some people in the South who are conned into voting for evil because they believed bullshit. But, there are good things about the South, and nobody likes to be treated as if they're stupid. But I don't identify as a Southerner.
Well, no, I wasn't going that far, but okay, thanks for stating your feelings on this. All I simply meant was through Look Homeward, Angel, and You Can't Go Home Again. What he does after he comes up east to New Haven, and then he runs the streets of New York City, and that's when he finds himself, and he looks back on Carolina and that little hick town he's from and talks about there it is in the distance, obscure, pretending to be something it no longer is. And that was
It's
what
not a little town, it's a city. My parents were
talking,
tired to Black Mountain. So.
Well, yeah, I was just talking about Thomas Wolfe.
But
anyway,
I only read Look Homeward, Angel. I didn't get further than that.
Okay, good enough. Good enough. So I want to say hello now. Benedicta, are you there with us?
Yes, boy. I'm here.
Oh, I'm glad to hear you. Welcome back, Benedicta.
Thank you. I hope my sound is better.
It is good.
Thank you.
And you have a countrywoman here, also from Ghana tonight, Rachel Raffison.
Oh, really? That's nice.
There'll be two good names.
Hi, hi.
Rachel, are you
Hello.
there? Oh, there you go. Say
Yeah, I'm
hi,
here.
you know what?
Hi, Benedicta.
Hi, Rachel. Which part of Ghana are you in?
Accra.
Oh, that's nice. I'm in Volta region.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, now we know. Now we know.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay. All right. Now, Mo, are you going to present for us, Mo? Not maybe now, but in this round.
Maybe the next round. Maybe the next round.
You and Karen. After you hear us warm it up for you, we'll warm up your stage for you and Karen. Okay, we'll be your
All
warm up.
right, sounds good.
It's like the comedy series does. Somebody always warms up. Somebody we'll warm up for you and Karen. You can close the show in the first round. Okay. So now, since Rachel, you have something to present for us tonight?
Yes, please.
Well, we're willing to listen. Come on with it.
Okay, so um, should I shoot?
We're ready when you're ready. Whenever you're ready.
So um, dipped in chocolate, bronzed in elegance, enameled with grace, toasted with beauty. My lord, she is a black woman, created of brown sugar with warm dark honey, cold black coffee and sugar cane juice. Oops, it tastes heavenly. Her skin absorbs the sun rays and reflects its beauty as a rainbow haze. The stars get jealous of her teeth at night when the moon appears to catch a glimpse of their brightness. She is the black woman, cheeks full of flesh and fire, succulent lips that have tasted bravery. Her waist may be small, but not a bomb, because she carries a race on them. Hands of gold that have changed the diapers of generations. Feet of brass that have crossed the 7 seas and 5 oceans and danced Palongo to the wings of west waves. A voice called forth rain to fall in the desert, manna to drop in the savannah, and mountains to rise in the valley. Ferociously royal is an understatement because a blackness fingers darkness. She is my African beauty, my melanin mermaid, my Africa. Truly, a black does not crack. That's the first one.
Oh, thank you. All right. And
Oh, that's nice.
maybe those of you that are messaging back and forth might want to halt for a minute and listen to the poet. Could you give us another one, please, Rachel?
Okay, so most times we look for love at the wrong place. We search for joy in the most troubled truth, dig for peace from the pit of pain, scratching for pleasure from broken bottles and wizened sexual organs. Only our pillows can tell the tears we shed, and the dark, the long prayers we've led. We carry our scars like tattoos, hide our flaws like dead flowers. The trees slap at our nakedness and drop its leaves to bury our boldness. Yeah, we let the world in on our weakness, but then you, mother Hucker, I'm not the kid on the block no more. I'm not looking for love in your last, I am love. This piece of coke can't choke my peace, neither the wine bottles my balls. I need not your pity, you can call me proud. I am what I have been searching for in dance and drugs. I am me, the resurrected truth.
Thank you. All right. Tell you what, that's a way to state who you are to somebody.
Wow, that was awesome.
That was awesome. Yes, it was. Now, Rachel, when we do three, and we call threes a charm, can you give us threes a charm?
Okay. The wind has filled my wings. I see the receding shore. Many we are on the journey of life. Alive or dead, we struggle in this strife, waiting for the day we will be called a day. Does that path lead to that end, or is it but a crossroad? Which one should I take? If to heaven I want to make, without waking the devil in me. They call me a poet because I cook words, but I see myself a sojourner at the land that flows in my mind, searching for the right route to take me to my creator.
Okay, that's very nice. Are we going to be able to hear from you about a published collection, Rachel, or the latest piece you've been published in?
At the moment, I do poetry for fun. Like I just write, like for fun. I post a poetry show on my timeline on Facebook for the love of poetry kind of where we discuss like old poets. So maybe I should be taking poetry seriously very soon. But for now, I'm schooling and working. So I think very soon I would get some publications out there. I'm even working on a group of poems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you say you were hosting something now?
No, mostly on Facebook on Saturdays, I do a poetry corner where I have a lot of poets like Madame Mambiki and then some from like all around coming to talk about. I post an old poet, like a biography of him and one of his best poems, and then we discuss it.
Well, if you could, if you know when you're going to do it next and with the how we can contact you, like your Facebook name or whatever, post that in our conversation, our chat box, because I'd be very interested in visiting that on a Saturday.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that could be cool. If you're rounding up various poets, all the better, all the better. You and other people. That's good. That's real good. So stay with us, Rachel, and now we're going to move over. We're going to go way, way, way back across the water. We're going to cross New York, the Great Plains, the Rocky Mountains, the desert life, all the way to the hills of San Francisco. So we're going to call him now Dane. Hello, Dane.
Hey, thanks. All right, that's good. I'm ready.
So are we.
We all ready? Act 1, Scene 1, Before Coffee. Everybody hates the paradox. Everybody wants the paradise. You hold court in your white room with your big white piano like you were the inventor of Pussy and Dick. What am I going to say to? Slink off in victory? War where exactly? What battle loss? Broke magi role you cast me to play. I did not fit the costume. The burlap rag bag I tossed upon center stage, downstage left, exiting through the audience, high school cafeteria, auditorium, folding chairs, naked little stick bouncing. Some ladies looked at, pretended they had not, over split finger, Heidi hands, giggles peeking. Where was that in the script? Standing nude, magi on street corner, bags of gifts over shoulder, wonders where is San Francisco now?
Is that is that like a current take of San Francisco these days? People
Yeah, a little bit.
standing nude and bearing gifts.
Yes.
Okay. This one guy, I seen a post on somewhere, Instagram or somewhere, where this guy, I think it was in Europe, is totally naked, wearing a mask, a surgical mask, over his private parts. And it said, and he has his sign says, "They told me a mask would be enough." And that's what he's carrying, walking down the street.
I think so. Yes, a mask is enough.
Okay, so how about number 2 there?
All right. East. If you find yourself kneeling and praying by a collection of used syringes in the gutter, dead roses splay broken in this city that started by the Creek of Sorrows, You may dig the wabi-sabi koan or not. Consider the offering you left. Do you see the altar and the altar and the altar in the rotten tooth, skin, lost in the cardboard box, astroturf, calculated urban forest, living without fruit or liability cracks in the sidewalk? Where is the East? Where is the East? Where is the East?
All right. Okay. Yeah.
It's lovely.
Yeah, Benedicta knows. All right. Can you give us three's a charm?
Yes, yes. A
Please
bar in
do.
the hate. A bar in the hate. I felt tragic and fall alone, unfrozen, free in the can't be, won't be studio backlot desert. I could have built a fairy tale castle with all that misery sand for that stiletto switchblade soul. Martyr myself to endless unkind stabbing, all for touch. Crazy. Fat, French fries, chili cheese, and onions would do just fine. I would crawl into a bottle, but I'm too fat to fit. Nothing would change once inside, glad the slow motion car crash is over just before the gruesome death, so bad even the corneas would be worthless. She said she had seen all of this before. I tried to argue another time. It was useless. What's the word? Futile? Why? I'm happy now for that, because if I had managed to catch her off guard duty one night, seduce her, I know how it would end. Don't go shopping when you're hungry. You always buy more than you need, get more than you bargained for. People cannot stand to look in a busted mirror. It reflects the undisputed, the lie you cannot get away from. That's the truth. And no one wants a constant reminder. They'll hate you for it tomorrow. Everything she told me dug me out like a canoe. If I ever get inside that bottle, can you chuck me off the Golden Gate? I have some traveling I want to do. Thank you.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so let's move around the board here. And well, it's good to see you back again, Benedicta.
Thank you, Mo.
And you got a nice clear signal tonight, and that's good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, really. So signal us with some poems, would you?
Sure, sure. Okay. My first one will be something about Maya Angelou. I know we all know about her. And I tweeted something about her in the past, which I want to read out today. It's something that I love so much. She shared it on Black History Month on her Facebook page. So I read. Am I clear?
Yes.
Oh, yes, yes.
Out of the hearts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, whirling and swirling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I rise. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Thank you. That's the first one.
That's excellent. Let's give it up. That was great. Wow. And you know, my reaction to that, if I may offer a humble reaction, which is in jazz and blues, we modernize lyrics to old classic songs, and you've just modernized the syncopation to a classic poem, and that's what we do in jazz too. You take a classic piece of music and you alter it to reflect you and your group's voice, even though everyone can recognize it's rooted in the classic author. And you've just done that. And it's good to see
Thank you.
poets do that. You know, it's really good. Plus, her syncopation is just dynamite. You know, hers
Yeah,
and
it
yours.
is.
All right. Have you another one for us, please?
Yes, I shared piece 2 on the B-Zine. It was published last year in September, so I read it out.
Yes.
Disputes of imperfection, forbidden paths of injustice, an advanced keen search of leadings into the past, a grant of amnesty with guided routes of the unveiled truth, relays of an open form with no opposing jurisdiction, a sketchy dialect of continuous trials, the nooks and cranny of faded laws, ardent principles and measures as hues to a truce that turns the tide, genuine codes of peace which resolve a flaming misunderstanding, peace and solidarity, revolution assets of life. That's the second one.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Peace and
You're
solidarity.
welcome.
I'll go for that. Send me a big box of peace and solidarity with you. I'll send you my snail mail address. I want some peace and some solidarity. So please send it over.
Definitely.
And if it tastes like cocoa or chocolate, all the better. Okay. Now, would you do another one? Can you do Three's a Charm, please?
Certainly. I'll go for a monocle this time. That's a one-line statement. You already know that. So my monocle for the third one would be strengths and facets of an astute journey. That's about it. I hope you got it.
We did. And as my former publisher, Lamont Steptoe in Philadelphia, used to read modern haikus and recite them twice. So would you recite that one-liner again?
Strengths and facets of an astute journey. That's about it.
I just gotta, that's about it in the poem, or was that your sign off?
No. Yeah, that's about it for the third one.
Okay. You never know, You never know. All right, great. Thank you, Benedicta, and hang around. And
You're
now
welcome.
okay. I'm glad your signal's good tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and now I'd like to switch again, jump over the water and go to New York City. Anybody heard of New York City? And get together another jazzy, syncopated poet named Jane Spoken Word. Hello, Jane.
Hey, how y'all doing today, wherever
Good.
you are? All right, well, this piece,
Well, yourself.
I was just inspired by Benedicta, and so I will read my poem, I Rise.
Thank
Get it out of the
you.
archives here. Okay. I rise. Sweet songs you said you would sing to me on days the sun dressed purple skies in haze, and a gentle walk in the park is a sparkle in our day, basking in the warmth of a million suns at the doorway of infinity, breathing in the depths of eternity. Creation waves transform me. Just as the river slips into the dark burning desire, and the sun sets the city in kaleidoscope skies, in the collective consciousness of an infinite multiverse, I rise.
Okay. All right. Well,
Lovely.
yeah, we're psychonauts tonight. People are going into the fourth and fifth dimension. You too. That's great. How about number 2, Jane Spoken Word?
All right, so number 2, we're going to take a little ride down into the gutter. This is a piece that I put up. All the virus poems are driving me crazy. So one day I just sat down and wrote this virus poem, and it just came flowing out my pen, and I posted it and people dug it. So here it is. In the city of the undead, 6 feet apart, your cough I dread. Your breath, where's your mask? Get the fuck away from me. I'm busy not touching groceries. Locked down in my room, as the heroes work through doom and gloom. In the city of the undead, 6 feet apart, we wait instead. Don't touch, There are corpses, death by viral sources, nurses underdressed, doctors depressed, workers, drivers, all looking for protection. Orange man boasting perfection, death from oblivious discombobulation.
Yeah, keep your distance. Because, like in New York anyway, people, it's a very crowded city. And if you've lived there for a while, you'll know that. Because the thing about New York, don't fucking touch me. You can be on a crowded bus and you're in my space. You're in my space. Let alone with a pandemic, right? Hey.
Yo, I'm walking here.
Yeah. All right. Can we have three's a charm, Jane?
Raise a charm, I will leave you with a one-liner. Kiss the sky and taste the sunset with your lips.
Ooh. As soon as the sun comes up tomorrow, I'm gonna run outside and do just that. Thank you very much. Just what the doctor ordered. All right.
Thank you
Repeat
all,
that.
it was great.
No, but repeat that again. It was only one line. Let's hear it again.
Kiss the sky and taste the sunset with your lips.
That's sweet. That's sweet. That's sweet. Can't go wrong doing that. Hi, Jack Cooper.
Hi, Mo.
How you doing, Jack?
I'm okay. Looks like I'm frozen again.
I just thought you had a stiff neck.
Yeah, I got a lot of things, actually.
Oh, one of them days, huh? Okay. But I'm glad we got an audio check on you, know, Jack. We can hear you well.
Yeah. No, it's
Okay,
nice to be heard.
Okay, it's nice that you're back. So I'm gonna move along here now, and I'm gonna remind Mo. Mo, are you there?
Yes, sir. I am here.
Okay, I remind you, we're trying to rally you up for the first round, Mo.
All right. I'm just I'm gonna perform in the second round. Am I correct?
Well, I was trying to get you in the first round, so then you'd perform again in the second round, because that's what I like to hear. Good poets go
Okay.
twice. You know what I mean?
So whose turn is it now? I'm sorry. I'm confused.
Well, I was gonna. Okay, who is turn over it now? Let's go over here. Let's go over to Vicky. Hi, Vicky. Uh-oh, your audio's breaking. Give us a try.
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Wow, this has been spectacular. Thank you so much.
And thank you for bringing Rachel on board with us tonight. Thank you.
I sent other people over. I think people are having trouble getting in, but I hope they make it in.
Okay.
Some good poets. I was really happy to hear everybody, and Jane just cracked me up with that last piece she just did.
Yeah,
so
made me feel good.
So listen, my voice is a little gone, so let me drink some coffee here. Wait a minute. And the name of the piece I'm going to do is called When the Truth Hits the Fan.
Okay.
How much of what was gained will be lost? What was done, now undone? What lost can never be again found. Every day the truth is spinning, waiting to blast off, takes flight in the darkness of confusion, looking for the light. The truth has never been prepared, coming up for air, moving close to the fan, lips with tight grips are zipped. Someone almost let it slip. Liars are stationed everywhere. The details of altered accounts. Everyone must get it right. The truth is drowning in despair, panting for air. Only half of the truth was told. Bright beginners can't keep their stories straight. So we wait as they huddle, moving steadily away from the actuality. flashlights flicker, search parties distracted by the Snickers, trying to remember what not to say. We have listened patiently, discerningly, waiting for the truth to fly. Because man, pay attention when the truth hits the fan. I said, when the truth hits the fan, if we let archaic falsehood stand, we all shall be damned. In peace.
Well listened to, well heard. Amen on that. United we stand, divided we sit in opposite places in the park. All right.
Divided we fall.
That's it. Can we have another one from you, Vicky?
Okay, this is a little short, sweet one. And it's just through a conversation that I was having about birds and this heat. In some states, the trees are not providing shelter or cover from the heat and causing the birds to really take a beating. So the name of this piece is called Heat, and it's just a little ditty that I wrote just to remember this particular time. The heat beat down, causing the birds to frown. No shade in the sunlight's parade, no leaf to give relief, just heat and grief. The birds waited till nightfall and left to search for a limb or a tree with foliage. Seems there no safe place, no safe heaven, no safe haven in the trees, as if the sun was on a killing spree. In peace.
Okay. Wow. Well, it's been dry and hot in Paris for 4 days this week, where it reached 100 degrees. And I saw the same thing walking my dog. Green places dried up and turned brown, and the usual group of morning birds, hopping around, gone. So their food line was taken away.
That too. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Okay. Can you give us threes? Can you now give us threes of charm?
This last one is a little longer. It's called Words Specifically. And this is all about words and how we interpret, and how as poets, how we collect certain words and how we use certain words and how we direct certain words to certain people. And it's just called Words Specifically. Collecting words has resulted to a lifetime of gathering. Now I am choosing which words to send you. I send you choice words on special days and specific words on chosen days. I share words that are specific to the cause or for a special occasion. Ruling words, boss words, special and specific, comical words, healing or forgiving words. When hungry, I feed you with my words. I add spice. Some call them explicit. My collection, my words of selection, choice words for all occasions. When I am speaking, one or more of my words may offend or diss you, but not really. Words should not be apologetic, because you should know they are subject to interpretation. Even the truth can be told with a slant. What I say may be a rant, like when I have to explain to the lames the reason all lives and Black lives matter is not the same. There are degrees of lane, and some are gone. They're so far gone, you can't even begin to explain where to start, where to start. My thoughts may not always be calibrated to represent exactly what I meant. The words I use to establish a thought or concept may not be what you understand it to represent. I am not of this establishment. It is I, attempting, but not always bringing forth a meeting of the mind. Getting understanding is another human feat. Getting understanding is a feat. Communicating for another to receive you is a feat. Most minds are out of reach. Getting through to them is like a security breach. How certain words make you feel, if felt by your subliminal choice. Once I am involved, it's a mystery to solve. How you apply them to your wound is your call. All depends on their appeal to your ears. You can retreat or feel defeated. You may feel these words need to be repeated or just ignored. That's not my fault. Somehow those particular words struck you peculiar, did not suit you, yet you suited up and wore them, walked around all day feeling some kind of way until they felt familiar. And eventually you owned them, wearing wanton words, those words that did not suit you, did not fit you, but you wore them anyway, and somehow that's not my fault. Maybe you were thinking they were food for thought before contemplating. You ate them up. You devoured these words, those crazy, spicy words that were sprinkled heavy-handedly over my sentences, like salt from a salt shaker. Sadly, only you could make the decision on how those words affected you. You should choose to bond. You chose to bond with those words. Claim them to be your truth. Being willfully ignorant is not so blissful after all. No names were called. That means those words specifically spoke to you. So you knew. In peace.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Vicky. Wow, that was a bell ringer. All right, so we're down to a couple of us now, and Mo, have you found something you would like to present?
Sure.
Please do.
All right. So it starts with when I was asked to speak about migration, and the reason being is like that this was at an event where it was exactly just that. Like there was an exhibition, and the theme of the art exhibition there was about migration. When I was asked to speak about migration, I imagined slaves rowing harshly across a white man's dream. I imagined the birds that have made a boat of a Syrian child's back as he washed on the shore of Lesbos. I imagined the 3 prison wards Nelson Mandela traveled to and fro, the mentorship concrete and upright steel bars offered him on his journey, how he must have tasted arrival in his heart long before parting with incarceration. It tasted nothing like salty sea breeze or the sullen silence of a passport control or patrols at the border. Nothing like nirvana or the voice of God at the other side of a treacherous hill, or a woman's hand caressing the calluses you brought home with you. When you see a face, it can be difficult to forget that the world was woven together with blood, like like the day Cain killed Abel, for all the ego love taught him, his legacy an earthly version of his father's understanding of departure, that it always begins with casting aside or burying a part of us that is heavy, even if it's our own flesh and blood. Today, in the northern regions of Africa, the dead have risen to protest for their lives, their funeral garments neatly woven into turbans, their fists poised to return to the ground. They shove off a heavy shovel, the gravedigger, a senile despot, masquerading as a gardener for all the ego love taught him. When I was asked to speak about migration, I did not imagine plane terminals, trains, or beaten path of relentless terrains. I did not imagine anticipation. Instead, desperation born out of a profound sense of loneliness. I imagined arrival, like arms wrapping around you, pleading to feel God in someone else's lungs. In this building, a boat wreckage sits in the ways that gravestones do. You can look at it and listen for ghosts. You can look at it and listen for the ghosts of its occupants. Hope is powerful when you can hear it parading in the quiet after the forebears are gone. It runs in the feet of a toddler who just learned how to walk. When it sits on the horizon of his eyes the first time he opened them. When you understand that it has less to do with life coming on your terms, more for the terms of who you'll be when you die. That hope is to die before you die, in the hope that migration can begin. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
that
loved
was.
it. I loved it. Wow. That was awesome.
Second one is very good, and I like the part of Nelson Mandela. He really left a legacy, and he was striving in the midst of hardship. He was persevering for freedom for his country. So that's good with the migration part. It gives us hope to also strive and persevere during hardships. So it's a good poem.
Thank you.
Very good. Yes, it was.
Thank
Well
Yes, it
read.
was. Yes. Well, that certainly deserves another one, Mo.
This one's called A Gun and a Textbook.
Wow. That's an oxymoron.
A gun and a textbook. A gun and a textbook. They say there's a little kid in Texas that was offered a gun as if they were school... Oh, I'm sorry. There was a kid in Texas that was offered a gun by his parents. He was barely 12. You know, a gun, like stationary. Its ghost possessing him already with false notions of a repercussionless world, even with the safety on. It still killed his imaginary friends. The boy had a gun, 15 rounds and a cartridge. They gave the boy a gun. Sorry, there's a bunch of typos that I didn't realize in the document. Sorry. Let me repeat that again. The boy was given a gun, like stationary. Its ghost possessing him with false notions of a repercussionless world, even with the safety on, it still killed his imaginary friends. The boy had a gun, 15 rounds and a cartridge, a match made in hell between carnage and his imagination, parenting resting in the cold grip of his firearm, in a nation that continues to set precedents for its own ruin. A storm is brewing, hate seeds blooming, a population brooding over its imminent undoing, and this clown of a tyrant is left to keep it grooming. Trump made it clear there is no such thing as an uninformed democracy. Instead, a population with an idiocracy that hides behind privilege, twisting the image of every fought-for virtue it can lay its hands on. It will call slander freedom of speech. It will attribute racial favoritism to the results of fair capitalism, whatever that means. It'll fight for virtues that are as synthetic as their understanding of them. A teacher hands the boy a textbook, hoping it would ward off the voices from the barrel, hoping that it would baptize him with enough sense for Socrates to speak to his inner daemon, not demon. He looks at the boy in the hope that the gun hasn't killed all the questions in his sleep, that a part of him was still trigger happy at being a boy. A girl hands the boy her heart, 11 ounces of it, and an experiment she calls love, something louder than the gunshot of his father's 12 gauge. They are trigger happy with foolishness. The boy is a boy now. The chamber kicks back. Blood sprays on the book covers down the hallway as Socrates' words drown in the echoes of gunfire, a trail of bodies leaving a nation alive with questions and denial. When the media gossip and the headlines die, when activism becomes sponsored by commercial interests, when the scare causes gun sales to run high, and the social justice climate's about to turn desperate, rest assured that everything's going to be fine, and we'll be running back to browsing Pinterest, laughing at 9gags while old hags reap the benefits. Merchants of death, alcohol, gun, and cigarettes will be laughing themselves witless as yet another tragedy became a marketing campaign they will teach at the academy. America, it isn't so much with your education as much as it is with a generation that has more or less stopped giving a damn.
Wow.
My.
That's good.
I'm telling you, that was some poem. So deep.
Page down. Oh,
Yes, so deep. Man, the girl had 11 ounces of heart. Was that her whole heart, or just a portion of it?
I think a heart weighs 11 ounces, right? That was is that true? I don't know.
Oh wow, that was her whole heart, man. That was
Doc,
so profound, Mo. That was so profound.
Doc, how much does a heart weigh? Do you know? How much? You should know.
That's an understatement.
How much does a heart weigh? Do you remember?
depends on whether it's in your hands or still in your chest.
Oh, seriously?
That was so profound.
Actually, that's correct, because when it's still in your chest, of course, it's filled with blood. And if I recall, a removed and bloodless heart weighs somewhere around
11 ounces?
a pound and a half.
A pound and a half. Okay. All right.
That
Thank
was
you, Doc.
Okay.
great.
Thank you,
One
Doc.
more comment on the heart. Long time ago, I was a surgical technician, which means I brought in the instruments for surgery and stood at the operating room table, scalpel, retractor, 3-aught sutures, things like that. And I was in a heart transplant operation that went 11 hours. And boy, did that kick my ass. I was 22 years old, but kicked my ass because it has to be very cold in the room. Now, what I want to get at is we opened his thoracic cavity. It's, you just take this cavity here and you just take a saw and you open it up. And you take these retractors and you spread it. And then the doctor and the team goes inside and does the work. Well, at a certain point near the end of the operation, they wanted to suction out all the unnecessary blood and like a goo from their cutting and the spraying and the things. So this surgeon turned around and lifted the heart up, still beating, on the aorta, and he said, "Hold this and don't move."
Oh, my
And
God.
yes, he did. And he put it in the palms of my hands, and I just went, da, 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 don't move, don't move. And that's what had happened. And after only about 10 seconds totally, then he removed the heart from my hand and put it back down in its cavity, what they call a thoracic cavity, and went then to sew the person up. And I tell you what, it wasn't blood red, it was pink, the
Wow.
one in my hand, and it had this little baby beat to it. Boop, boop. So that's what I remember. And
Wow.
well, so can
Mo,
you give it? Yeah.
Mo, I just looked it up. I was incorrect. A male heart weighs between 10 and 12 ounces, and a female heart 8 to 10.
I was almost accurate. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Thanks,
Okay.
Doc. Thank you so much, Doc. Appreciate it.
She had a big heart.
Mhm.
Thank you,
Okay,
Doc.
so Mo, can we get Freeze a Charm?
Sure. Okay, let's just check if this one. Okay. Bless you. All right. Okay. So, this one's called Blind Side. Eyes are now glued to the television. For a couple of $100 and a few credits extra, you can wear it around the side of your head and watch your IQ dive to derision. In the 20th century, high definition and clarity has been tailored to suit the needs of the blind, those who cannot be anything else other than their unimaginative selves. Walmart's selling you bankruptcies like hotcakes. At aisle 17, there's a father about to sign off on a life sentence. His brain is auto-tuned to the sales pitch as the voices singing down the entertainment section. I guess a curved TV was worth the house's foreclosure. The daughter is still counting the days her father could still hold her. His student loans, the detention class his teacher never told him about. Bad credit, a term the little girl would learn to mouth in kindergarten. One day her heart would harden, her composition skills would improve just enough to question school, why a fool of a father made education a subject worthy of boast, while he spent his nights making a thesis out of his own suicide note. Eyes are now glued to the television. Everybody's hooked on this thing called VR, a blindfold that teaches audiences how to swim in empty promises. It's no wonder why Einstein could have never predicted the weapons of World War III. What tools can a bankrupt population use to fight off debts it drowned under just to forget itself? Can somebody pause the channel switch and talk to me? What should that golden dome on that mosque mean to me? Someone here too proud will say Aqsa, the first house of God that Muslims pray to, a holy site that will one day represent the pinnacle of tasted liberation. They will preach their fermented ignorance while a producer in Tel Aviv slaps his kneecaps laughing, another fool who cannot tell the difference between the Dome of the Rock and one of Islam's sacred holy sites. If you die in war, at least you could hope that someone will remember you enough to ask for retribution. There is certainly a worser consequence than death when someone is unable to recognize the markings of his own doorstep. Eyes are now glued to the television, people's minds a hamster wheel spinning on a treadmill, a library full of vines and meme literature, their hearts a cynical list of obituaries addressed to the lives they would have led. If they could have only just remembered the first trick they had learned the day they were born, when a doctor severed their umbilical cords right before they welcomed them to the world in their mother's arms, if they could just remember how to open their eyes.
Mm.
Wow.
That's good.
Wow,
My
Mo.
question
Wow.
is, Mo, I have a question.
Yes, I'm listening.
How can thesis cause suicide in World War III?
Thesis? What?
Thesis. You said something about thesis causing a suicide note.
No. Debts. Basically, the stanza that I wrote was about a father who basically drowned himself in student debt, and he's still paying it off. This is a tragedy in America, where you would get a student loan, and you would have at this point you probably have grandchildren, and you would still be paying your student loans. At this point in America right now, that's how bad it is right now. So this is just a stanza that addresses that. And basically, the father was boasting to his daughter about the virtue of education, while at night he's writing a thesis about his own suicide notes.
Meaning it's a long-term something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, that's good.
okay. I'm okay. I think I'm going to go up next and then ask Jack. And I stored something. Okay. I want to read a couple things. I had 3 poems for you all tonight. Well, they were jazz poems, recorded poems, for those of you who came in late. And we tested the audio, and somehow my laptop, calling those songs up on my laptop and turning on the volume, it got distorted on Zoom. So I can't deliver them. So what I'm going to do is read a couple brief things that I have written this week. I have begun to do a series called Inconvenient Truth. And there you have it. And well, I'll give you my opinions on why. And it starts out this way here. In this period of return to Puritanism, that old familiar fallback, Americans fall back to self-censorship, to quiet rooms, to hush character assassinations, and overcorrection if somebody slips on your banana peel. Quote, comedians, we're the only ones left taking risks and saying shit no one else will say, said Whitney Cummings. Nina Simone's did school us. She never apologized. Now include a few brave poets. Kudos to people who said, hold your own banana peel. You made it, not me. Langston Hughes, Amiri Baraka, Dick Gregory, Sapphire, Gregory Corso, Diane DePrima, Lawrence Ferlinghetti. Laugh till it woke you, Lenny Bruce, George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Bill Hicks, Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, Cat Williams. To those preaching to the choir for approval, it's getting rather old. Okay. As I said, and I have another one I want to read for you. Let's see if we can find this here. Give me a second and I will find that for you. Let's see.
Noted, Doc.
Okay. This is one that I really appreciated writing. It's called Say It with Flowers. Say it with flowers. I have habitually written, broadcast, posted, published inconvenient truths since I sat in that high school history class. I grasped and gasped how much truth was false or sanitized or interrupted for a commercial break to obscure the totality behind some individuals, other events. As I was an avid public library book reader, do you remember public library? World travel to the other side of the tracks, other side of town, across the oceans filled the gaps in my innocent ignorances and prejudices. I've written poems that rankle the unalterable belief. Knowing the fates of Socrates and Lenny Bruce, I've had my share of dismissals and cancel culture. Nina Simone as role model, I make statements from the stage during my jazz and blues concerts on historical and current events. I take the most blowback from people with whom I share a larger point of view and desired outcomes. But now the lines are strictly drawn and humor is confused. Humor is confused with blasphemy. Did I say Puritanism? It's called rational discourse when we talk, and from it, I have seen my own mistakes. I have lived, I have lived through the vital urgencies of youth and the tempering of age. And I say both conditions are invaluable to me and you and the body politic. Two things that please me and most others, my dog Bertha, and say it with flowers. Flowers and green plants center me in most humble ways. It bathes my skin, it bathes my feelings, it bathes the cooker between my eyes. When I first dropped LSD as a teen, I became a tree hugger. 'Twas then I embraced flower power and all that it envelops, from the root of nourished being to the climbs leading to the frontier of the fourth dimension. To communicate with God, G-O-D, great outdoors. I'll be back tomorrow with another round of discomforting info that rattles partisans in this period of all or nothing. Some days I wish to simply be a gardener and receive criticisms that the content of my soil and the flora species offends someone. Anyway, have the best day you can. And in the face of a pandemic and BLM activism and devastated economies and back to school crises and flip-flop candidates and other circus political events, take care. Say it with flowers.
Take
So,
care too, Maury. Say it
right?
with flowers as well.
Yeah. And
It's nice.
it's too dark now, but if you follow my page, you'll know from time to time I photograph flowers in my house, my apartment, and outside. Because I've been growing flowers every year since I was in my middle 20s, when I had a plot of front yard and side yard back home and here on the Balkans. So
Well,
flowers are
I'm gonna
good.
have to, I'm gonna have to invite my
Oh,
friend
that's nice.
from Greece here. He's a poet and he's also a rooftop gardener.
Well,
And for
that'll
the
be good.
last, yeah, his name is Demetrios. He lives in Greece and he has beautiful flowers. If you
Okay.
befriend him, he'll send you pictures of his flowers.
Well, if he's interested, he'll come to Angora Poets and he'll be welcome.
Yeah,
How's
I'm
that?
just saying you could go and look at some of his pictures. If you love flowers, man, you would love them.
I do that indeed. All right. And okay, so I think I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to do three. I feel all right with two for the moment. Kind of disappointed my recording studio jazz poems don't transmit audio correctly on this device. I think you might like them. Me and Mo are going to try to work that out later, and maybe I can put them on next week. So anyway, that is leads us now to the last poet of this round, and that would be Jack Cooper. Hello, Jack.
Hello, Mo. Hello,
All right.
everyone.
Hey, Jack.
Hi, Benedicta.
I've missed you.
Oh, I miss you too. I miss myself, as you can see. I am immobile. However, this is hot off the press. I read some weeks ago, I read some some words from a novel that I've been working on. And I've just completed, at least I think I've completed, an epic sentence, which I'd like to read for you. Those of you who may recall that my hero was lying in bed with a woman far more advanced in the world than he. And so at this point he's actually looking around. He's come to the point that the sun is now up, and he can look around the apartment. And what he sees, he's comparing what he sees to his own apartment. And it goes like this: compared to his own apartment, which subsisted according to a pattern of broken planes, configured among which the partition of simulated Moorish arches served effectively to subdivide the narrow, diminutive domicile for undifferentiated purposes, uncertainly defined, untidily indeterminate. Even the plumbing exhibited in Terry's palatially appointed abode an empyrean of floriated sprinklers gathered overhead, gadgetry almost garish in its implementation. Almost, I'm sorry, immodestly exposed, explicit, undecorative, unapologetically, blatantly functional, entailed a sophistication, evinced an awe of abashed impoverishment. The quotidian servility of two vertical pipes passing for appurtenance of Richard's comfort. One conveying heat with a snap of surprise come the approach of cold weather, unaccountably reprised throughout the winter succeeding. The second silent, only conceding height between a tilting floor and the mottled ceiling he had done his best to beautify with amateurish spackle and fresh paint, induced in him a feeling of loneliness similar to the distraught valve seeking a vanished radiator.
Okay.
Jack, what happened to the radiator? How come it vanished?
Ask the landlord, Benedicta.
Did you write that in New
Oh.
York or at a crowded apartment in New York or Paris?
Oh, no, I wrote it here, but I'm writing about the comparison between a loft in Soho and a small tenement apartment, which is where my hero lives.
Okay, because it resonated with me, that kind of New York existential overtone to that, especially, of course, with the vanished radiator. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit that the missing radiator was autobiographical.
Okay. Well, all right. I hope you found your radiator and got back with it. And
I'm
gave it
still
back.
looking for my radiator. Let me tell you.
You got to give them you got to give them a home, Jack. You got to bring
Well,
them
exactly.
radiators a
Well,
home
that's
and
the thing.
take care of them.
I had a home, but no radiator.
Well, I'm thinking about your radiator because
Okay.
I'm thinking about number two
Looking
from
for
you.
my home. Anyway, so you want another one?
Please.
Okay. This is called, again, going back to New York, this is called Times Square in August. A calm comes from out of town, a tourist step to set the mind at ease and uneasy foot down. Gait gains proceeds, nowhere until know when. And I become individual meaning, entire, who is himself neither needed nor want to want more. No one, anybody, any some. Fret to feet, seeds forever. Genital creed, extent to die, questioning the air.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's passionate of you, Jack. It's nice.
Thank you, Benedicta.
You're
Because
welcome.
because we have our literary critic back with us now, everybody. If you're not realizing.
Yeah, no, I'm grateful for the fact. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you, Jack. I'm saying if everybody just came in like you, Rachel, Benedicta seems to be our onboard literary critic.
Absolutely.
You got it. Okay, number three's a charm, please, Jack.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you.
Mo, may I say
something?
something?
Yes.
Yes, I just want to say that when I listen to the playback, I get to really enjoy it even more, but I'm not there to tell you all, but the last taping, I mean, Jack and the other man from the Poet Laureate, I mean, I really enjoyed those poems, and I really got a lot out of them, and it's just a delight to really go and listen to the replay. And I want to say also thanks to everybody that I invited for coming, and thanks Prince McNally for inviting me to this wonderful platform. And Mo, thank you for being a host. It's awesome. Thank you so much.
It is awesome. It is awesome. And thank you, Vicky. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Well, like I say at the end of every Zoom, everybody thank everybody, because that's what it's all about. And Jack, are we ready for your three's a charm?
We are, yes. I mean, I think we are. I am. It's called it's called Flight in August. I say to myself, live. Let no one else see. Forsaking all wish of envisioned joy. Nothing should arrest. August not fade. Patience have had I forever to miss suffering and fears. Into clouds escape. I sing to myself, live.
Sure do sing to yourself.
All right.
Thank you,
Listen.
Jack.
It all begins when we sing to ourselves. Is
Yeah.
that true? All right.
Certainly.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
And so now I won't. Prince, you came in at a time where we're nearing the end of this round. Would you like to present?
Sure. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing?
Hey,
Good.
Prince.
Let's go, Prince. Let's
Hey,
go.
Prince. Hey, Prince.
Okay, let's see. This piece is called Scratching the Surface. The day we met, we were standing 6 feet apart at the neighborhood grocer. It was after saying something rather clever that amused her when she turned to me and smiled, her eyes simultaneously saying hello. We chatted briefly for a few seconds, then that led to a few minutes that turned into a few hours, which lapsed into a few days, morphing into weeks, months, than years. And though we could tell from the beginning this wonderful connection between us was something far beyond deep, we would soon come to discover that we were just scratching the surface. Let's see.
I got that real, I took that one real personally. That happens. You have chemical run-ins and then it's time to go. And once in a while, it's not time to go. It's time to stay. Anyway, number two.
Number two. I'm going to go with assimilation. In this holy realm of corporation America, we so-called African Americans are somehow still struggling to keep our heads above water, just to keep from drowning. Often told to stop complaining, we swallow our pride, burying our pain and anger in the shallow grave of America's indifference. In order to advance, we have adopted this silly notion of assimilation, oftentimes wearing a white perspective just beneath the surface of our skin. With irreverent smiles, we proudly adorn your medals of achievement as a sign we made it in spite of our blackness. But sadly, we fail to see our precious melanin as a blessing, a God-given gift, but merely as a curse, an unredeemable quality, a constant reminder of this harsh reality of being Black in America. So we play the game, reconfiguring our mindsets to please our bosses, constructing ladders of success from broken bones, from broken homes and broken psyches. We have broken through your glass ceilings, donning your Brooks Brothers suits in our constant pursuit of emulating you. We straighten our hair, we even bleach our skin, trying to pass for anything other than Black. In case we're ever stopped by the cops, we won't have to be afraid of losing our dignity, of losing our freedom, of losing our breath.
All right. If this is news, listen up. And if it's already understood, let it sink deeper. All right. Can you give us another one, Prince?
Read the charm.
Yes, it is, sir.
Okay. This is a short one. It's a sexy piece. It's called The Air of Summer. As the rolling tide rushes to her shore, hushed moans collide with the ebb and flow of breath, slowly escaping her trembling body on the whim of a silent sigh. She smiles at the very thought of him, her forefinger gently stirring clockwise in a slow circular motion, tossing and turning in the warm nocturnal air of summer.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. That was brief.
Bravo, bravo, bravo.
Thank you, thank you. That's a new piece.
Prince McNally, everybody.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
Prince McNally, for real.
Mickey.
Post it on Facebook again for me to read it and absorb it well.
Right. Okay.
No, I actually have refrained from posting like my poems on Facebook.
Good.
Because
why?
Because for one,
plagiarism.
I wanna
plagiarism.
I'm working on a few books, so I want people to be surprised. And number two, I'm submitting to journals and what have you. And if your stuff is on Facebook, they're gonna more than likely they're going to reject you.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, they
So-
want
Yep.
unpublished poems.
Yeah.
Facebook is more so like instant gratification, where you want to
Everyone
you
is
wanna,
reading it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you want to see your likes and all that. I'm kind of beyond that point,
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, I do still post pieces that
Yeah, you do.
I feel that I need to express, or to those that do follow me. I have to give them something, you know what I mean? So I give them my thoughts, but
Mm.
that's not something that I'm planning to put in a journal or whatever. But as far as the actual poetry, I try to avoid posting on Facebook.
Okay, you don't want any form of plagiarism.
On the subject of posting on Facebook, if it has become so bad right now that if your grandpa never had a Facebook account or for the or he has never even seen the internet, but someone just happened to have taken a picture of him and uploaded on Facebook, companies take that picture and use it somehow in one way or another for their business needs. There are, so it is a dangerous place to put anything.
No on a copyright kind of thing.
Yes, I heard Andrew Yang the other day on Bill Maher talking about made a reference which was really eye-opening for me about the fact that our data, which is what we're putting on social media, our data is the fuel for so many businesses.
Yep.
And Wang's point of view is that it's time to begin to redress that and begin to to give the people who provide the data a share in the profit.
Yeah. It's gotten so bad. I'm sorry. Were you finished?
No. Yeah. No, I'm finished.
It's gotten so bad that companies have information about babies or kids before they were even born, because of moms that are using applications during their pregnancies. So they put so it's essentially your parents, the parents are signing up kids to under the mercy of these companies without these kids ever seeing the internet. That's how bad it has become.
Exactly.
Wow.
Well, just wait until
Westworld?
the vaccines come out, and then we'll get the chips, and then we'll just be like, all in.
Westworld, Bill? Westworld?
Yeah. Have you seen Westworld?
No, I have not. Not yet.
Yes.
We see what a world is coming. Huh?
Wow. Okay.
I publish poems. I'll put the poems on Facebook that I've already published in books, my own books, for instance.
That's
But
fair.
I ain't putting nothing new out there. You're totally right.
Yeah.
And I have a couple poems that have been plagiarized. And to tell you something, people, I have traced who plagiarized it. The plagiars, or whatever the hell they're called, is a noun. and nothing can be done unless I had enough money for a highfalutin lawyer, and they had enough money for me to take some of it. And since they're usually rookies,
really?
since they're usually rookies looking for something to make them look like writers, in other words, I don't have the money for a highfalutin lawyer, and what would I get from them? Their old CD collection. I mean, but I feel you on that.
Could be worth money someday.
I mean, once someone slaps a IPM, what is it? IPM number on that baby.
IPS number.
IBS number on that. It's theirs.
Okay.
It may have been your creation, but once they have that on that poem, it's theirs. Legally, it's theirs. You don't have a leg to stand on.
Well, I remember some 10 years ago talking to a Mary Baraka over in Newark at his place, in the South Ward. And we were talking about that. And I said to him, I said to Amiri, uh, similar to our conversation, I said, I'm just like, finally, Amiri, your stuff is being reproduced and quoted in rap and Russell Sims show, you know, and other things, and you're all over the place. And he said, well, I'm over all over the place, but I don't worry about it. And I said,
Right.
okay, what are you saying? He's saying, my shit is so real and so out of the box that these Facebooks and Instagrams are afraid. They don't even want to use my shit for,
Right.
for fear that they're going to wake some more up. So
You know
that's how
what? That's my sentiments right there. I think my stuff is so wild and so like if you want to hear me talk about the president or say something negative about the system, that's on you. I mean, I put it out there for it to circulate. So,
well,
hey,
let's keep this conversation going. I would like to finish this round with one brief piece, since I read earlier two brief pieces, because you recall what I've written in August, and it's see this. Here's the face of my book.
Okay.
But and it's part two and a move. It's a suite in three movements that was recorded in a studio to a jazz quintet. But I'll give it to you straight ahead here. And let's see. The suite number two is simply called 3 a.m. The rains came that night in August, that late hour of deep sleep for some, restless turns, repeating conflicts for others. The darkest hour when death calls for those worn to fade away. At 3 a.m., the rains fell upon Paris, syncopated, beat, 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 splash and dash on thirsty stone. Uncountable measures and percussion taps my window pane, 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 pane. All the while, a dormant cloak wraps itself around this city, which lies prostrate, taken. Its eyes are closed. Window open. I lean. I lean into a breath of humid musk, touch of nocturne's dew. A man coughs up his nightly phlegm. An old woman wrestles her portal closed, secure against the weather, safe from absolutely nothing. Please don't drown in that vessel. Two young lovers down below. His husky voice calls, is there any more wine? And I say by faint whisper, the bottle is empty. It fills your head, levitating your restless whims, your swollen head. Now lie, be still, in your lover's bed, a lullaby coo, softly spoken. Now take to sleep if you prefer, or take a plunge with your lover and gaze together through that darkness to the light that shines through both your eyes and say, how beautiful you are, how beautiful you love, how beautiful your life on the edge of night, turning to a morning promise. And I promise you, oh, it's rain pouring, wetting the world of both of us, and all that we need, everything near, all that we seek, touch and be here with the night and its rain. It surrounds us. An old man dies, a child is born, we balance into each other, and all is right. And when we fall to passion's call, fatigue of pleasure, a day complete in the solitude of two, now go to sleep, beat, 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 from heart to head, now free fall, together your dream. Beautiful. Like that? Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah, 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 Mo.
Yeah, I have a romantic side of me, very much so. In
It's
fact,
nice.
I'm a romantic, which is one of the reasons why I'm politically and socially active, because my heart wants something more
Mm.
for more than just my own benefit.
I don't think you can be a jazz. I don't think you can be a jazz person without being a romantic.
Woman.
Yeah, I don't.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Charlie Mingus would have agreed with that.
Or pessimist.
Okay, you got me on that one.
And if you ever talk to Max Roach, what do you think about this with your jazz? Jazz? Jazz is a bad word. There ain't nothing called jazz. That's a white man's term. They slapped on us in New Orleans. I don't play jazz. I don't want to be asked about jazz.
Oh dear God.
All right, so let's leave this open and yeah, continue the chat and we'll return in a few minutes to the second round.
Hmm. Oh, we
Yeah.
got Gene Ruda on the line. He's coming on.
Mm.
Gene Ruda. He's connecting.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Karen,
We need music in
have
the
we
building.
inspired you, Karen, to join us in the next round?
No, again, I said I'm just listening, and I may have to duck out behind my profile picture to answer the door in a few minutes. So,
Oh yeah?
Oh
Who's
dear.
coming by? Pray tell.
somebody returning garden tools and getting sticks. Okay.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about all that. Okay. Okay. All right. So what's going on? I mean, are we continuing where we left off with how we publish or other things on our minds?
Mm, uh, uh, what, what about publishing? I didn't get that. Sorry.
Well, we were talking about whether we should, how to protect our work and learn how
Oh,
to have it send out and be plagiarized.
Okay, I wanted to ask a question here.
sure.
Is it better to use a blog which is protected, or there'll still be people who will be able to hack into your blog and steal most of your work that's not published?
I wouldn't know.
Which is which?
I think anything that qualifies as a public domain that includes
Maybe
well,
it's a protected blog and it's bound by privacy. It's not open to the public. Is it best to
I don't know.
post most of your work there that has not been published before?
Yeah. I don't know about blog. I don't know, but I have done blogs from time to time, but I don't know about its legality or secure rights. I was taught a long time ago. Now I know just a general principle by one of my mentors, Sidney Miller from Brooklyn, who passed away. Sidney, I said, Sidney, I read that poem again, and the audience was quiet, and they're usually really responsive. I don't know what happened. I was on this university tour, see, and I don't know what happened, Sidney. They were just dead last night when I read that poem. And he turned around and looked at me and said, listen, when you send that poem out, you don't own it. It's no longer yours. You have let it go. It goes in the ears and the minds of the readers, and now it's theirs. And to wish to command how they feel and command how they react is out of your domain. Hope for the best and write another goddamn poem and shut up.
Oh dear God! Wow.
Yeah, tough love from Sidney Miller. And I agree with him because you can't, you know. But something happened with me about 2 weeks ago. Somebody comes online and they say Simo Singer, and it's the editor of a newspaper in Pittsburgh. And somebody says I'm doing some kind of I'm writing a book on the famous Pittston uh, coal company, United Mine Workers strike, the historic showdown in Appalachia. And I had covered that and won a literary journalism award for my coverage of that because I embedded with these people. And what happened was, I said, "Yeah, I'm the Mo you're talking about that Scott Mervis referred you to." Well, I need to know who's in this photograph, Mo. Who were you standing with at that gate? and who was surrounded. You were in a crowd of people here. Can you identify who they were? And I gave her a few names, and then when I said, "So where is all this going?" And she said, "And I found your work referred to in that Noam Chomsky magazine, Z." I said, "Okay." So I finally said, "So where's this going?" And I never heard another answer from her.
Mm.
You know, and I felt pissed. You know, I didn't want her to jump up and down, but just give us what you got so we can use it to enhance what we're doing. Is what how that went down.
About creativity, about the copyright. Sorry, there's actually a so you guys are familiar with the term blockchain. Not to go into
Yeah.
the deep.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is actually a blockchain solution now on the internet. I think it's called Kria, if I'm not mistaken. Apparently, whatever you publish on that system, uh, it is but basically gets associated with a code. So and that code is unique to you only, and it is like if anyone were to ever question about who the original author is, they can just use that code to trace it back to you. So apparently now there is actually technological solutions for that. uh, but the law is just so slow at catching up with things,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah,
Well,
the voting ballot was also solved like like 5 years ago, but no one wants to talk about how they want to. The technology has existed a long time ago.
So is it widely used now? Or it's
Not
a new?
Korea. It's new. Some people are using it, but like it's still not famous. Like it's not getting the backing that it should get. But yeah,
Well,
like hmm?
I use a poetry
Then
site called Poetry Soup, and Poetry Soup, you can pay for lifetime membership or you can go in for free. But they do give you copyright on your pieces that you post in there.
Oh
So that's a
wow. Okay,
couple.
poetry soup. Is that what's it called? Poetry soup.
Poetry Soup, one word, and it's a very nice, safe place to put your poetry. I have probably about 300 or 400 poems on there, and I have about close to like 1,000 or over 1,000 poems, period. But I have that amount on there, and all of them have been copywritten. And they tell you if you get them on there and get them copywritten, still once you promote your book, get another copy. You'll get another copyright and an ISN number. But basically, for the time being, you'll be safer. Yeah.
Hmm.
or
I'm sure WordPress too is also part because that one too it's protected. I don't know
Excuse
if
me.
you've heard of WordPress.
WordPress, yes, but like I said,
Yeah,
Poetry
it
Soup,
also has protected forms as well,
right?
and you
But
could do an upgrade.
well,
Poetry Soup is and it's a really safe site. Very nice people, and they always introduce the new poets and they keep a lot of correspondence back and forth.
okay. And and 6 years ago, I went old school. A publisher from Austin, Texas, asked me to send him everything I could, like just scan everything, and he would put it in the Aus that was at the Texas University Archive, since he was one of their people who present and lecture and all. So I sent like everything I owned by scanning it, and and then just before I sent it to him, I went to the Library of Congress, people, and I got copyright for the entire collection.
Mm-hmm.
One U.S. Patent Office copyright for my entire collection.
Mm-hmm.
And the story behind that now is that uh, I simply legally own everything that I sent in one source,
Yeah.
and I kept the number, you know. So that can happen.
It's like it's considered like a manuscript actually. You know.
Yes, that's right. You
Yeah.
send it pretty much like a manuscript. They accept it
Yeah.
as poetry, of course, but it's manuscript form. And yeah, I think it cost me $10, but I was glad. The whole thing, one number for all of that. And I've written since then, but that was many years worth of work, legally harnessed under that copyright number out of Washington D.C. and did the whole thing online. I never sent any snail mail. I did it all from Paris. So there's something to think about.
I try to um, discourage people from rushing to put as soon as you write something, you got to put it on Facebook type deal. And I'm like, you got to get out of that because basically you're a slave to the likes. You want to see how many people liked your piece or what they said about it or whatever. And I guess we all have been there at one point or another. But at a certain point, you got to move past that because it's not about the likes. You're not writing. I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm not writing for likes. I'm not writing for approval, but I'm trying to write to touch somebody. And so when I put it out there, every now and then I'll put something out there, and what you see is like a first draft, and what in the actual finished piece may not even resemble it, at the end of the day. So it's like half the time when I put something out there, I was like, I really don't care because I don't like to get caught up in who's going to copy my work or what. Because the way I see it, once I put it out there, it's out there and it's, I let it go.
Right, you got to let
I
it go.
released it to the world. That's it.
Right.
And,
Right.
And it doesn't preclude me from create. It's not as if I'm not going to create any other works, So I don't get caught up in a one piece or this, I just don't get caught up in it. And if it happens, it happens. Guess what? I'm still going to write.
Yeah.
I'm still a poet.
Yeah.
Well, I settled a plagiarist some years ago in Ithaca, New York. Around Cornell and Ithaca College writers groups. Somebody had stolen the lion's share of a poem I wrote. Not the entire poem, just the lion's share. Particularly where the pennies were dropping, if you know what I mean. They were okay. So the publisher said, "I'm confused. You and this other guy both sound so alike. In fact, listen to this. So I don't know what to do," he said. And I said, "I'll tell you what we'll do. Read 3 of my poems and ask him to read 3 of his. And let's just, why don't you make a judgment on whose voice that poem's coming from?"
There you go.
And it was, so typical urban street language, cadence and so forth. So the other guy refused to read and just vanished. And the editor said, basically, it's been settled. We did read 3 of your poems. That is your voice throughout. And the other guy didn't have any other thing to stand up next to what he used of yours. Know what I mean? He didn't have anything else that had that kind of language and that kind of groove. And so he's decided to gracefully bow out. So at least that happened because okay, so let's get ready for the second round and say hi to Claire Andriani. Hello, Claire.
Hey, Claire.
Hello, Claire. Turn it on, Claire. Turn on that.
Hey,
Unmute.
Hi, Claire.
Hi.
Good to see you, Claire. We're going to call on you in a bit. You know that. And we'll call on Mo again because I know I know he's rather, I say, prudent about reading. Going to call on you again, Mo. But I'm going to start this second round again. Welcome everybody back, and ask someone who likes to come out of the chute early, and that's Bill Strangmeyer. So would you give us second round? Would you please everybody give us 2 poems? So Bill, would you start us off, please?
Yeah, okay. This is an old one called Molly and Mabe. Scruffy brigands of tougher streets than these, and broguish rogues of a brawling race, you dip and curtsy, mocking heads up, one red, one brown, and bobbing down to mock a priest in lilting slang, talking out of the side of your mouth like this. And to think we fought a war so the likes of you could dance in public, up and down the stepped street, past church door drunks, agreeing that the pious lily lord's not what we fucking need. No wonder they drank with their bloody awful women. And Pug'em Hun, can you keep two thoughts side by side, two opposites in your mind? Oh, to be of Irish humor with girls like you on my street.
Short and sweet, Judge. Okay. Number 2, please, Bill.
Okay, another old one. Why Grandma never locks the bathroom door. A family is the universe of evil you know. You just feel comfortable with them. When do the phantasms die? Will the audience grow? Am I safe? Sometimes the dark hovers at the edge of sight, mocking like an unfunny clown. A street mime, untrained and misgarmented, tries to hold back progress with insults. A street corner slave gives moral lessons to the innocent. Turn on the television. There is much to be passed on and to be fixed. Why do they not listen these many times? At its end, though gone, though now useless, it is fragile, we think. It's important. My mind is a prosthetic device. Our muscles and teeth are weak, no claws. The night sings with the moon and the cries of wolves, of babies and of mice. Are you a good witch or a bad witch? I didn't recognize your voice or shadow. And when the music sings its nostalgia, I am comforted and soft. Stuffed frogs and perukes play fiddles, but I mustn't think of that. There is much to be avoided or to be feared. I cannot listen to the wings.
That's lovely.
Bill.
I love the end.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I never knew there were good witches.
Sorry?
I never knew we had a good witch.
You never
I
watched
already know that they are all bad.
You never watched The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, I did.
Well, actually in voodoo, there are people who practice healing, and there are people who practice destruction on your ass. So
Good or bad, they all got burned back in the medieval days.
No, but last time I was down in New Orleans 5 years ago, and then people were lining up trying to get good gree, from them voodoo women who announced. They said, "Honey, I want this man to fall down or turn impotent. He left me," and they go, "Honey, I don't practice." They say, "Honey, I don't practice that stuff. You got to go to somebody down the street who does vengeance." I remember that being told that.
Also, European witches were often only midwives or strong women. Huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, doctors stole the birthing industry from the midwives.
So, can we? Okay, let's mute up now. Mute up. And let's ask Doc. Hello, Doc. Can you come back on for 2?
Okay, I'm back on. Phasing between, among, across, and through dimensions of time, space, thought, and existence. Everything slows into a microcosm of starts and stops, yet constant movement, ebb and flow, rise and fall. Neither here nor there, not within or without, nor somewhere between. Anywhere and anywhen are long ago and far away, or yet to be, and yet so close at hand. Thought is life, and life thought. the unknown amidst the known. All mingles, melds, intertwines, melts and blends, layers upon and within layers, becoming.
Thanks for taking us on that journey, Doc. You have a second one?
The second one. Well, I'll risk you having heard this. In moments between life and death and life again, healing and waking from within oceans of infinity, in synchronicity of past, present, and future, touching silken shadows of past, letting go to compassing winds of time, dancing in convergence of unknown forever, we learn. Learning what life is as past fades across rim of today into unremembered future. Learning life is love and love is life. No hallelujahs, no hosannas, an awakening. Thank you.
You're welcome.
you,
Very
Doc.
good. It sure is an awakening, Doc.
Okay. Got my eyes open. How about now? Let's go to Ghana. Let's go to Accra and call on Rachel again. Hello, Rachel.
Hi, Mo.
Hey, babe. Can we hear two poems from you, please?
Okay. Okay, so this one is about the voices we hear and then fears we have about ourselves, sometimes about our capabilities. It reads like this. Told not enough. I do not fit in. I am useless. I have no talent. Even if I did, it is dead. I believed it. I let in the fear. It crushed my spirit, wore my soul. No more. It's like me or what I stand for. They can watch and say, or die and rise. I will do me. I will laugh like a jackal, laugh like a dog, cry like a baby, right out of my wrongs, sing the highs and lows, smile through it all. Click, clack, click. Today, me and my fears, we say to each, goodbye. No more of today. And she's called Self. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Mo, is there a suggestion we can use to help Rachel get through with that more clear audio?
Rachel, do you have any other devices connected to the internet? Rachel?
Yeah, my laptop.
Maybe if you disconnect the laptop for now, because you're on your phone, correct? So maybe it's better if you.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe it would be better if you disconnect, because there's so much like I think there's just too many devices connect to your internet, and that's why it's static.
So
I've disconnected my laptop now.
Yeah, just turn it off, or like turn off the internet there. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, say that poem again, Rachel.
Okay. So I'm not as pretty. If I did, it is dead.
Uh-oh.
I believed it. Wore my soul. But no more. I do not care no more. They can dislike me or what I stand for. They can watch and say or die and rise. I will do me. I will laugh like a jackal, laugh like a dog, cry like a baby, right out of my wrongs, sing the highs and lows, smile through it all. Today, me and my fears, we say to each, goodbye. No more old friend. I fell in love today, and she's called Self.
Okay. Now that was better. Yeah, thank you for that poem. And let's thank you for a second poem, please, Rachel.
Okay. It's night again. The moon has taken center stage, like a bride on her day. The stars are seated beautifully too, while the sky holds these two to a show. Sleep has divorced my eyes, so I came to be a witness to this charm that lies among the luminaries. This harmony knows no envy, where each is allowed to shine unabated. The sky is huge, the stars are numerous, but there is space for each of them. There is grace for each to flourish. That is our talent, that is our gift. There is space for all of us to dominate.
Okay. Thank you, Rachel. And it came in a little better. And last question is, do you sometimes lose signal strength in your house, in your station?
Yes, sometimes.
Okay. Because that happened to Benedicta, who's down in Ghana, and it happens to people who Zoom poem from Ireland quite a bit. Amy Berry and some others from Ireland, same thing. People that live near the water and have wind, it seems. Wind coming off the water seems to mess up with that signal sometimes. But anyway, we got almost all of what you had to say, so thank you.
With permission, I'd like to cut in, like maybe I can perform my piece because I need to go. If that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Mo, please. Yeah, go.
All right. So this will be like 2 short pieces. This is an old poem called. One second, where is it? Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. So this poem is called Ink Bleeding. I bleed ink for you. In the same hour that Notre Dame burned, a fire broke out in Al-Aqsa. You can all relax, this is not a poem to promote Grandpa's conspiracy theories. I promise you there will be no talk about bombs, or the skeletons we put in our conscience, or the blood we drink in our coffee, or the bodies we loot in our bank accounts. I promise I won't talk about Flint, or the ethnic Muslim cleansing in China. I won't talk about Sudan or Gaza, or how we've made compassion into a romanticized dream. But I'll bleed ink for you. I should know what it's like to have your conscience handcuffed to the free market, where the honest voice is sold to the cheapest bid. I bleed ink for you, even though it's not the kind they print, doesn't bring food on the table, feed the kids, or pay for the rent. I bleed ink for you, unsure what I'm hoping for. Maybe you'll get nausea and a throbbing heartache. I mean, what a privilege it must be to carry tragedy in your pocket without getting sick. What a privilege it must be to subject people worth to the width of your thumb. And I know that you are numb, so I'll bleed ink for you. Sorry for the mess, by the way. It can be hard to channel outrage through the tip of a pen and expect it to make any sense. But what sense do we make when we abandon ourselves, when we benched pain and allowed phantoms to smile in the mirror on our behalf? A month ago, a teacher told me that poets are the gatekeepers that define what is possible with language. I did not write this to call anyone out, rather in the hopes of calling some of you back, to tell you that the mirror is only as kind as the light in the room, I hope you can learn how to look at it with love.
Bravo, bravo, Mo. You have a second one, Mo?
Yeah. A short, unfinished one, but, I'm happy. I'll read it. It's called Ambivalence. Hypocrisy is most loud when it is soft-spoken. I can almost hear the cluttering sounds of their keyboard, their fingertips a barrage of haggling attempts with the truth. Their phone screens on the verge of breaking as they pound away for vindication. An exemplary moment when silence could have been more dignifying, but they speak anyway. And a tumor in the conscience grows as ambivalence fills the air, impersonating virtue like filth doused in gold.
Okay, Mo, thanks. Well, those landed with it. All right.
All right.
So I'll mention to you now, if you fade out because it's like a couple hours later for you where you're at, leave me administrate so we can keep the room going.
You got it.
Okay. So with that, I would like to next call Dane, please. Hello, Dane.
Okay, let me fire up the the ferrets. Soft. I wear you, the thought of you like joy, soft against my skin, frolic with the nymph, cool blue sky mid-morning, coffeed, comfortable bathrobe, nepenthe, the absence of sorrow, sapientia, wisdom. This potion heals, takes away sorrow, but not the lesson. God whiskey, goddamn whiskey, or good whiskey, or just good knowledge, warm. Purr. I listened to the poem of the purr. Your pregnant verse, lollipops cost money, you remind me boats do too. I was thinking raft, canoe, something with a paddle. I need to hear you. I need to hear you now and every ever words lapping on the side of some simple floating watercraft on humid summer lake day. You sunshine me like a rock, boulder, pebble on imaginary Lake Berryessa. It is a sweet smash in the face telling of you becoming. I chase. I steal your line. Either it is ether or something divine. No, I steal all of them. Tattoo them on my arm. The artist renders it a black square. What is the mystery hidden within there? I bow to vision. I bow to verse. Lay out under shade trees planted on your holy land. There is no appreciation for the tender moment unless you live through worse. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, Dane. That was nice.
Thank you.
It was deep. I have a question. Jean Ruda, are you poeming tonight or singing?
I could do either, but I'll poem. I have a couple of poems I've prepared.
Oh, you do?
Written since my last visit to you all.
Okay. Would you like to read them now?
Okay. Hello, everyone. So nice to see you again. Can you hear me okay?
Hi, Gene.
Yes, we can.
Okay. This first poem is called Spherical, and it is lyrics in a sphere. Spherical. Stand on this same sphere. Breathe in this same air. Drink from this same pool. Listen to this signal. No wings, no enclosure, no rings, no dome over. We recreate, we resolve, we regenerate, we revolve. That's my short poem, Spherical.
Like that, like that.
Lovely.
And
Nice, nice.